Have you ever found yourself trapped in a mental loop where a specific person's name, face, or essence plays on repeat in the theater of your mind, refusing to fade into the background? It starts, perhaps, as a fleeting thought in the morning, a subtle memory triggered by a song, but soon it expands, occupying the quiet spaces of your day and the heavy silence of your nights. This is not merely about missing someone. It is an intrusive, persistent presence that feels almost physical, as if they are living rent-free within your consciousness. You might wonder if you are losing your grip on reality, or if this relentless fixation is a sign of weakness, but let me assure you, it is neither. This experience is a complex tapestry woven from your emotional depth, your psychological needs, and the invisible energetic threads that connect human beings. There is nothing wrong with you for feeling this intensity. It does not mean you are obsessed in a pathological way, nor does it imply that you are broken. Rather, this phenomenon involves the intricate machinery of your mind, the vulnerability of your emotions, and the resonance of your soul, all working in unison to deliver a message you have yet to decode. It is a profoundly human experience to be tethered to another, and often the mind clings because the heart still has work to do. However, beneath the surface of this repetitive thinking lies a silent, often overlooked layer of meaning that goes far beyond simple attraction or attachment. It is a signal from your inner world, a knock on the door of your awareness, asking you to pay attention to something vital within your own life. Throughout this journey we are about to take, I will guide you through 10 profound revelations and signs that will help you decipher why this person remains in your thoughts. We will explore this with psychological clarity and spiritual elegance, transforming this mental noise into a pathway for deep personal growth and understanding. The mirror of unclaimed potential. The first layer we must peel back reveals that the person occupying your thoughts is often not just an individual, but a reflection of your own hidden self. Psychology calls this projection, but in the realm of the soul, it is a mirror showing you parts of your own nature that you have either repressed, forgotten, or have yet to claim. When you cannot stop thinking about someone, it is frequently because they embody a quality, be it confidence, freedom, creativity, or even a certain type of chaotic beauty that lies dormant within you. Your subconscious mind fixates on them because it recognizes a familiarity, a potential that is yours by right but remains unlived in your current reality. You are not just longing for them, you are longing for the version of yourself that they represent. This mental fixation acts as a spotlight. Preserve the original language between who you are and who you wish to become. The intensity of your focus is actually the energy of your own evolution, trying to break through the barriers of your fear. Consider the mind as a vast, calm lake. This person is the stone thrown into the water, and the ripples are the vibrations of your own potential calling out to you. Instead of viewing the thought of them as a distraction, try to see it as an invitation to integrate those qualities into your own character. If you admire their strength, it is because your soul is ready to be strong. If you envy their freedom, it is because your spirit is crying out for liberation. You are chasing them, but in reality, you are chasing the missing pieces of your own soul. What is it about them that you wish you saw in yourself? The loop of unfinished business. The human mind has a profound distaste for ambiguity and incomplete narratives, a psychological phenomenon often referred to as the Zeigarnik effect. This principle suggests that we remember interrupted or incomplete tasks far better than completed ones, and relationships are no different. When you find yourself thinking non-stop about someone, it is often because the emotional loop between you has not been closed. There may have been things left unsaid, feelings unexpressed, or a departure that felt abrupt and lacking in closure. Your mind continues to retrace the steps, trying to solve the puzzle, rewriting scripts, and imagining different outcomes in a desperate attempt to find a resolution that reality did not provide. Consider for a moment a story of a person we shall call the silent traveler. This individual once met someone who sparked a profound light within them, yet the connection ended in a vague drift. No arguments, no final goodbye, just silence. For months, the traveler would wake up analyzing the last conversation, dissecting the tone of voice, searching for the precise moment the connection fractured. They were not merely missing the other person. They were trapped in the waiting room of their own mind, holding a ticket for a train that had already left the station. It was only when they realized that the closure they sought had to come from within, not from the other, that the mental noise began to subside. This relentless thinking is your psyche's attempt to write the final chapter of a book that was left open on the table. It is the anxiety of the unknown manifesting as rumination. The mind is trying to protect you from the pain of uncertainty by creating a controlled narrative where you can finally make sense of what happened. Think of your thoughts as a melody suspended before the final note. The tension remains until you decide to play that last note yourself, accepting that the silence from them is, in fact, an answer. Resonance and energetic entanglement. Beyond the logical workings of the brain, there exists a subtle, invisible landscape of energy where logic holds no sway. We often forget that we are energetic beings, constantly broadcasting and receiving frequencies. When you think of someone incessantly, it can be a sign of a deep energetic entanglement or resonance. In the realm of spiritual psychology, it is believed that heavy emotional investment creates a cord, a bridge of sorts between two psyches. Your thoughts may not be entirely your own. They could be a response to the energy being directed at you, or a remnant of a vibrational match that was once so strong it altered your personal frequency. This is not about magic, but about the physics of connection. When two people share a profound experience, their emotional signatures can become synchronized, much like two tuning forks that vibrate at the same pitch even when separated by distance. You might feel a sudden wave of sadness or a surge of affection that seems to come out of nowhere, which could be the ripple effect of this shared energetic field. Your mind struggles to process this abstract data and translates it into the only language it knows: obsessive thinking. Imagine your heart as a sensitive radio antenna. Sometimes, the static you hear is not generated by the station itself, but as a result of being tuned into a frequency that is still active. This connection defies time and space, lingering long after the physical presence has faded. It suggests that on a soul level, the dialogue is continuing, even if the physical voices have fallen silent. Recognizing this allows you to step back and observe the connection without being consumed by it, understanding that resonance is natural, but it does not compel you to act or to suffer. You are sensing a distant echo, not necessarily a call to return. The chemistry of withdrawal. We must also address the biological reality of what happens when we connect deeply with another human being. Love, attraction, and deep connection flood the brain with powerful neurochemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. These are the chemicals of reward, bonding, and happiness. When the person who triggered this chemical cascade is removed from your life or becomes distant, your brain experiences a very real physiological withdrawal. Thinking about them is not just an emotional act. It is your brain craving the chemical fix it associated with their presence. This biological drive can be incredibly confusing because it masquerades as deep romantic longing or spiritual destiny, when in fact, part of it is simply the machinery of the body seeking equilibrium. Your mind replays memories of them to trigger microdoses of those feel-good hormones, creating a cycle where the thought of them provides temporary relief from the pain of their absence. It is a survival mechanism gone into overdrive. You are not weak for feeling this. You are fighting a biological tide. Think of this attachment like an anchor caught deep in the seabed of your mind. The ship, your conscious self, wants to sail on, but the anchor holds fast, dragged by the weight of chemical memory. Understanding this biological component is empowering. It helps you realize that the intensity of the thoughts is not always a measure of the person's value in your life, but a measure of the depth of the chemical bond that was formed. It allows you to be patient with yourself, knowing that the brain, like any organ, needs time to heal, recalibrate, and learn to generate its own joy without the external stimulus. You are detoxing from a powerful experience, and that requires gentleness, not judgment. The catalyst for shadow work. Often, the person we cannot stop thinking about acts as a catalyst for our own shadow work. In psychology, the shadow refers to the unconscious parts of our personality that our conscious ego does not want to acknowledge. This person may have triggered your deepest insecurities, your fear of not being enough, or your terror of being seen for who you truly are. The obsessive thinking is often a defense mechanism, a way to focus on them so you do not have to focus on the pain they unearthed within you. They are the trigger, not the cause of your internal turmoil. When you replay interactions with them, you are likely revisiting moments where you felt small, rejected, or misunderstood. The mind clings to these moments because it is trying to repair a wounded self-image. It is easier to obsess over why they didn't call than to face the deep-seated belief that you are unworthy of love. They have inadvertently shone a light into the basement of your psyche, revealing old ghosts that were there long before they arrived. This is a pivotal moment for spiritual maturation. Instead of asking, "Why do I miss them?" try asking, "What wound are they touching?" Think of this person as a harsh but necessary sculptor, chipping away the excess stone to reveal the true shape of your spirit. The pain they caused, or the pain of their absence, is the chisel striking the marble. It is uncomfortable, jarring, and loud, but it is carving out space for you to become more whole. If you can shift your focus from the person to the lesson, the obsession will naturally begin to dissolve, having served its purpose. Does this persistent thought feel like it is trying to protect you from a deeper pain? The fantasy of salvation. A powerful engine behind nonstop thinking is the subconscious fantasy of salvation. Many of us harbor a secret, often unacknowledged wish that someone else will come along and save us from the mundane reality of our lives, from our loneliness, or from our own responsibilities. When we meet someone who seems to fit the mold of this savior, our mind latches onto them with a desperate grip. We begin to construct a fantasy version of them, attributing qualities they may not even possess, simply because we need them to be the answer to our problems. This is where the line between reality and illusion blurs. You may be thinking about who they could be rather than who they actually are. You fall in love with the potential, with the movie playing in your head, rather than the flawed human being standing in front of you. The obsession is fueled by the fear that if you let this thought go, you are letting go of your only chance at happiness or rescue. It is a heavy burden to place on another person, the responsibility for your soul's fulfillment. Imagine you are painting a masterpiece on a blank canvas. You paint their face, their smile, their heart, using the colors of your deepest desires. But if you look closely, the canvas was never them. It was always your own hope. The person in your mind is often a creation of your own spirit, a projection of the love you are capable of giving, not necessarily the love they are capable of receiving. Recognizing that you are the author of this fantasy empowers you to take back the pen. You realize that the salvation you seek can only be found in your own ability to create a life that does not need escaping. Echoes of early attachment. Psychology teaches us that our adult relationships are often echoes of our earliest attachments with caregivers. If you find yourself obsessing over someone who is emotionally unavailable, distant, or inconsistent, it is highly likely that this dynamic feels like home to your subconscious mind. We are often drawn to what is familiar, even if it is painful. The non-stop thinking is a replay of the anxiety you felt as a child when you were unsure if your emotional needs would be met. This is the inner child seeking a different ending to an old story. You replay the scenario with this new person, hoping that this time, if you think hard enough, or love hard enough, or worry enough, you can change the outcome and finally earn the love you felt you were denied in the past. The obsession is not about the present moment. It is a time machine, taking you back to a vulnerable state where you felt your survival depended on maintaining a connection. Think of these thoughts as an ancient echo, bouncing off the canyon walls of your history. The original sound was made years ago, but you are still hearing the reverberation today. Recognizing this pattern is incredibly liberating. It allows you to see the person not as a villain or a soulmate, but as an actor who has unknowingly walked onto the stage of your past trauma. You can then step in as the loving adult for your own inner child, providing the reassurance and security that you are seeking externally, breaking the cycle of anxious attachment. Intuition versus anxiety. One of the most difficult challenges in this experience is distinguishing between the noise of anxiety and the whisper of intuition. Sometimes you cannot stop thinking about someone because your intuition is trying to alert you. This is not always a romantic alert. It can be a warning. Your subconscious mind picks up on micro-expressions, inconsistencies, and energetic shifts that your conscious mind misses. The obsessive thinking might be your system's way of processing a red flag or a danger signal that you have tried to ignore because you wanted the connection to work. Alternatively, it can be a sense of profound knowing that this person is significant to your path, but the timing is not yet aligned. The mind races because it is trying to bridge the gap between what you feel is destined and what is currently manifesting. However, anxiety screams, while intuition whispers. Anxiety feels frantic, draining, and repetitive, focusing on fear of loss. Intuition feels calm, grounded, and persistent, focusing on truth. Imagine a lighthouse scanning the dark waters. Anxiety is the storm crashing against the rocks, chaotic and loud. Intuition is the steady beam of light that cuts through the fog. If your thoughts are leaving you exhausted and fearful, it is likely anxiety or attachment. If the thought of them brings a quiet, albeit sad, sense of knowing or a nudge towards growth, it may be your intuition. Learning to discern the difference is crucial. It requires you to sit in silence and feel the texture of the thought. Is it heavy with fear, or is it light with truth? The drain of etheric chords. In many spiritual traditions, it is understood that when we direct intense focus towards someone, we are feeding them our life force. If you're thinking about someone non-stop and feeling physically drained, lethargic, or mentally foggy, it is possible that you are sustaining an energetic cord that is siphoning your vitality. These cords are formed through mutual attachment, but they can remain even when one person wants to move on. By constantly thinking of them, you are keeping the channel open, sending your energy to them, and leaving little for yourself. This creates an imbalance where you feel depleted, while they may surprisingly pop up in your life or reach out precisely when you decide to let go, because they feel the sudden cut in the energy supply. This is not malicious, it is simply the mechanics of energy. The obsession is the pump that keeps this flow moving. You are effectively living in their energy field rather than your own, which is why you feel so disconnected from your own center. Visualize these ties like roots intertwined beneath the soil. While connection is beautiful, these roots can sometimes wrap around your own, choking your growth and stealing the nutrients meant for your own blossoming. To reclaim your mind, you must consciously choose to call your energy back. It is a practice of visualizing the return of your light, sealing the leaks in your aura, and understanding that you cannot heal or help anyone by draining your own vessel. You must be full within yourself before you can share with another. The call to return to self. Ultimately, the most profound reason you cannot stop thinking about someone is that the universe is using this obsession to turn you back towards yourself. When we externalize our happiness, our worth, and our focus, we abandon our own center. The sheer exhaustion of thinking about someone else is a breaking point designed to force a surrender. It is life's way of saying, "You have given enough energy away. It is time to bring it home." The obsession acts as a distraction from the uncomfortable work of sitting with your own void. If you weren't thinking about them, what would you have to think about? Perhaps your own loneliness, your lack of purpose, or your own unfulfilled dreams. The person is a placeholder for the relationship you need to have with yourself. The intensity of the longing is actually the intensity of the call to self-love. You are seeking union, but the primary union must be within. Think of your mind as a compass. For a long time, the needle has been stuck pointing toward this other person, but true north is you. The suffering you feel is the tension of the needle fighting against its natural alignment. The moment you begin to pour that love, that attention, and that obsession into your own life, into your passions, your body, your spirit, the magnetic pull of the other person weakens. You realize that you were never really looking for them. You were looking for the feeling of aliveness that they triggered. And that aliveness is sourced from within you. Destiny implies that we must move forward. The lingering presence of this person in your mind is not a sentence to life imprisonment. It is a passageway. You are not weak for loving deeply, nor are you foolish for struggling to let go. You are simply a sensitive soul navigating the complex waters of human connection. The thoughts that crowd your mind are simply indicators, road signs pointing towards parts of your history that need healing and parts of your future that are waiting to be born. You have the power to shift from being a victim of these thoughts to being the observer of them. To find peace, you do not need to force the thoughts away or fight them with anger. Instead, try this simple, elegant practice of release. Observe with wisdom. When the thought of them arises, greet it like an old guest who has stayed too long. Acknowledge its presence without pouring tea. and gently guide your attention back to the present moment. Do not judge the thought. Simply let it pass through the open windows of your mind without asking it to sit down. Remember, a thought is just a visitor. It is not the owner of your house. You have the key to your own peace. And you can reclaim the sanctuary of your mind, one breath at a time. The silence you seek is already there, waiting underneath the noise. If this message resonated with the deeper chambers of your heart, I invite you to continue this journey of self-discovery. Subscribe to the channel to explore the profound truths of the mind and spirit, and share this video with someone who might silently carrying the weight of a memory. Let us heal together.